Hello, Pewter people. Scott Reynolds here with another Pewter Pulse. Okay, Bucs fans. I know some of you are underwhelmed by what's happened in Tampa Bay during free agency so far. Some of you were expecting more of a splash from the Bucs in terms of being all in on a Super Bowl run this offseason. So what the heck is Jason Licht doing? Well, I'll tell you in just a moment. First, your reminder, hit the thumbs up button on this video. Also, leave us a comment. I love reading the comments. And when you like our videos and leave comments, it helps us with the YouTube algorithm, gets us in front of more awesome Bucs fans like you. Also, please hit the subscribe button on our Pewter Report TV YouTube channel. Help us grow and get to 18,000 subscribers sooner rather than later. Thank you very much. Now, let me explain what Jason Licht and the Bucs brass are doing this offseason in terms of player acquisition so you can better understand the plan. Now, I wrote about this topic as the lead in my SR's Fab 5 column on Saturday on pewterreport.com, but I know some of you watch our Pewter Report TV YouTube videos and may not visit the website to read our content, but you should. Understanding what Licht and head coach Todd Bowles are doing is important, so I wanted to get this message out to the masses and explain it in a Pewter Pulse video in addition to my column. Heading into free agency, this 10-win Bucs playoff team had only 5 openings for new starters on offense and defense. The re-signings of wide receiver Chris Godwin, left guard Ben Bredeson, and inside linebacker Levante David filled 3 of them. And the addition of veteran pass rusher Hassan Reddick at outside linebacker leaves only 1 vacancy on defense, and that's at nickel cornerback, assuming that Tyke Smith moves to strong safety to replace Jordan Whitehead. And then that role will be filled in the draft or in free agency as it continues. The Bucs view Servassier Dennis as a starter at Mike linebacker next to moneybacker Levante David, as David returns to play his familiar weak side linebacker role. Time will tell if Dennis can stay healthy enough to handle the starting assignment, but the Bucs loved what they saw from him in the first 4 weeks of the season before he re-injured his shoulder. He was on his way to supplanting KJ Britt as the starter before being placed on injured reserve, and now he's got that shoulder surgically repaired. Tampa Bay wasn't enamored with the veteran free agent linebacker market anyways, so Dennis slides in as the starter. Like you, I'm a little surprised that the Bucs didn't sign a veteran starting caliber cornerback to replace the oft-injured Jamel Dean. But the purpose of this Pewter Pulse video is to explain the Bucs plan, not necessarily endorse it. Although I do agree with most of it. I just don't trust Dean to stay healthy for a whole season because that's never happened in his 6 years in Tampa Bay. I would have preferred the Bucs to sign a guy like Charvarius Ward this offseason and move on from Dean, but the team felt like Dean, when healthy, is better than any of the top cornerbacks signed in free agency, including Ward, Carlton Davis, and Paulson Adebo, all of whom are making $18 million per year. Dean, at $13 million per year, is actually a bargain now. The reason why the Bucs moved on from Carlton Davis last year when he was oft injured and didn't make plays in the ball, kind of like Jamel Dean, and the reason why they traded Davis to Detroit is because they had a starting caliber cornerback waiting in the wings in Zion McCollum. Tampa Bay doesn't have that guy on the roster at this moment to replace Dean, so Dean stays for now. Expect the Bucs to draft a cornerback or 2 in this year's draft, and there might be another veteran cornerback that comes available either before or after the draft to sign. If Dean winds up as a $13 million backup cornerback this year in Tampa, so be it. He knows Bowles' system, has a Super Bowl ring, he's a great locker room guy. There are certainly worse backup cornerbacks around the league. Jason Licht's focus this offseason was to build the Bucs roster from the bottom up with veteran additions. Tampa Bay has shored up the inside linebacker position with the re-signing of 30-year-old athletic Deion Jones, who played well in the wildcard game after coming up from the practice squad, and the addition of 29-year-old Anthony Walker from Miami. Those 2 linebackers are viewed as upgrades over KJ Britt and JJ Russell. And the team believes that Servassier Dennis is also an upgrade, as he's the starter for now. And Tampa Bay probably will draft a linebacker this year to add even more talent to the linebacker position. The Bucs saw too much of undrafted free agent cornerback Tyreek Funderburk and former sixth-round pick Josh Hayes last year when Dean was out after veteran reserve Bryce Hall broke his leg in week 1. So they signed the tough and competitive Kendall Vildor, who has 26 NFL starts, as an upgrade over Funderburk and Hayes. Now, if the Bucs draft a starting caliber cornerback in, say, the first or second round to pair with McCollum, then Jamel Dean and Vildor will serve the team as very experienced reserves. Light and Bowles are doing the right thing by improving the quality of Tampa Bay's backups. I saw how that approach paid off firsthand in 2002 during the Bucs' first Super Bowl run. A 31-9 loss in Philadelphia in the wild card round cost Tony Dungy his job at the end of the 2001 season and brought about the trade for John Gruden. The Bucs had plenty of star power in 2001 with Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, Rondé Barber, John Lynch, Simeon Rice, Brian Kelly, Mike Allstott, Brad Johnson, and Keyshawn Johnson. But the problem with that Tampa Bay team is that it had a lot of A-grade talent, but it also had a lot of C-grade starters too. Those C-grade starters were exploited as the Eagles targeted the Bucs' weaknesses. In 2002, Gruden replaced a lot of those C-grade players with B-grade starters, guys like defensive end Greg Spires, left tackle Roman Oben, left guard Kerry Jenkins, wide receivers Keenan McCardell and Joe Jurevicius, and tight ends Ken Dilger and Ricky Dudley. And all of a sudden, the Bucs became a Super Bowl team with very few weaknesses to exploit. The first week of free agency is over, but Jason Licht and his staff are far from being done with the 2025 roster construction. That did begin with the splash signing of veteran pass rusher Hassan Reddick. The Bucs have 6 draft picks this year to add even more talent in April, and Licht is famous for adding quality players as late as the week prior to the start of the season. Defensive end Jaquez Smith was acquired off waivers right before the start of the 2014 season, which was Jason Licht's first year in Tampa. And he had 13.5 sacks and 4 forced fumbles over 18 starts in his first 2 years in Tampa Bay before succumbing to a season-ending knee injury at the start of the 2016 season. Likewise, defensive end Carl Nassib was acquired off waivers right before the start of the 2018 season. And Nassib wound up with 12.5 sacks in his first 2 seasons in Tampa Bay, in addition to 3 forced fumbles, while starting 17 games. And who could forget the signing of running back Leonard Fournette right before the start of the 2020 campaign? Fournette went on to become Playoff Lenny and ultimately Lombardi Lenny later that year, and he was the starting running back during the 2021 season, helping the team get a franchise record 13 wins. We'll see if Light's deliberate strategy to build the roster from the bottom up by improving the depth works, and if he and Todd Bowles ended up picking the right players. Remember, the best free agents are the ones who re-sign with the team, the ones who are already proven themselves in pewter and red, guys like Chris Godwin, Levante David, and Ben Bredeson. And look for some hefty contract extensions for some more proven players like Luke Gedeke, Cade Otton, and perhaps Zion McCollum this offseason. Licht wants to make sure they don't hit free agency in 2026. So that's the plan for the Bucs this offseason. Now let's see if it works. One thing that is working is you're helping our YouTube channel, Pewter Report TV, grow by leaps and bounds by subscribing. So please do that. Hit the subscribe button and get us to 18,000. For more Pewter Pulse episodes and other great Bucs video content, including our Pewter Report podcast, check out Pewter Report TV. Follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Pewter Report, and visit pewterreport.com for more free agency scoop, Bucs analysis this offseason, and our world-famous draft coverage. And I'll be back soon with the new Pewter Pulse.